Welcome to this tutorial. My name is Ian and I will be taking you through the tutorial. So in this tutorial, we're going to be looking at how we set up our Excel Copilot. We're going to be seeing how we can make our conditions correct in Excel to be able to use it. So basically just a bit of an overview. Now if you're looking for a little bit more about the features of Excel Copilot, please look out for the other tutorials that we have. So we're really going to take you step by step through how to use the Excel Copilot. Please remember to like and subscribe to the channel, keep up to date with all our latest videos. But let's jump into the tutorial. I will see you there. Welcome to this tutorial. So in this tutorial, we are going to take some data and we're going to be working with our Microsoft Excel that is online. And we're going to be seeing how our Copilot can work with our data. So in this tutorial, we're just going to be looking at a bit of an introduction, a bit of overview, just getting everything right so that we're able to use the Excel Copilot in the following tutorials. Okay, so let's get to it. So what you will see at the moment is that we have some data that has been loaded into my browser Excel. So you'll see at the moment that I'm running my browser and basically I've got this set of data. It's about 250 rows of data. If we go down, you'll see about 250 rows of data that we're currently working with. Now, if you look at the top on my home menu, you'll see that my Copilot button is there. And currently it's not grayed out. So that means I've got a license and in theory, everything should be fine. Now, as I've mentioned previously in the previous tutorials, please make sure you've got a Copilot Pro license. You will not be able to use the Copilot in Excel unless you've got a Pro or Enterprise license to be able to do this. So please make sure you've got that. Okay, so once we've got the Copilot button there, we're able to press on this and it will now bring up the Copilot pane. And you'll see it'll do a little bit of work as it's figuring itself out. Now, the first part is you can see that it's now broken this up into 4 different things that it specializes in. So you can see the first one is add formula columns. We've got highlight different data. We've also got sort and filter, and we've got some analyze capabilities. Now we're going to be doing some tutorials on each of these, taking you through some examples of what we can do. So please look out for those tutorials as we go through them. But the first part about it is that Copilot cannot work on standard spreadsheet data. It has to have a table. So the first job that we need to do here is actually to convert this into a table. So what we're going to do is we're just going to click on any of these cells. Now, when it comes to a table of data, you'll see that this data is already formatted as a table. And to have a table, basically what you need is you need your different fields. And you can see I've got all my fields of data in each of my columns. So each column is actually a field of data. The next part is that we've then got our rows of data itself. So each row is actually a record of data. And that's basically what you need for a table, is you need your data to be in your fields, which are your columns, and to have records, which are in your rows. Once you've got a table, you're able to then set this up. So you can see it's giving me a bit of guidance here, select insert table, converted. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the format as table. Please note we're still on the home menu, so we're going to say format as table. And this will give us a lot of different default styles. You can go through this, you can see which colors you may like to work with. What I tend to do is just maybe use one of the sort of darker headers, but I like keeping the light background and the dark text. So let's say, for example, I'm going to choose that one. And you can see now straight away, it comes up with a question. It says that it's going to convert the data, but it's also asking, does my table has headers? And in this case, you can see my table does have headers because each of the columns is now got a field name. So I'm going to say yes, okay on that. And you can see now it's converted that into a table. And basically for each of the fields now, what it's done is it's got little drop downs. Now, if you're familiar with the drop downs, basically this is the standard way that a table works within Excel, is basically you get access to the ability to be able to filter this, to be able to sort this. And we're going to be looking at this in further tutorials when we're starting to look at how we can work with our Copilot. Okay, so now that we've got it in a table, you can now see that my Copilot has been activated. And basically we have these different options in terms of type of capabilities that we can do. It also gives some suggestions on what we can actually put into the Copilot. Now really the big point here is about asking questions. So when it comes to working with AI or working with Copilot, it's about us being able to use natural language statements. So it's basically if I was talking to a friend and I was asking a question, that's really how we're starting to communicate. So let's say, for example, I wanted to know how many rows does this table have? So I can just ask the question and we could just say, how many rows in the table? Once we've got the question in there, you can see that we can go across, we can send this, or you could press enter at this point. You'll also see there's an ability to use a microphone and also that you can view the different prompts. So view prompts just gives you an option of being able to see different prompts that you're able to create. So you've got create prompts, understand prompts, edit prompts, ask prompts. So if you want to spend a bit of time just going through and looking at these different types of prompts, there's an example. So yeah, I just chose the first one, examples to help you create. And it will just give you some prompts that you can use to start off. Obviously, in the series of tutorials, we're going to run you through questions that you can ask as well, which will hopefully give you some ideas. So we're going to click on send on that, and it'll tell me that it's now working on this, and hopefully it's going to come back with an answer. So there we go. We've now got the answer coming back, and it's telling me there are 250 rows in the table. It's also done a little pivot table for me. So if I wanted to, I could add that to the sheet. And you're going to see that happen quite often, that when it comes back with an answer, it may format the answer as a pivot table, and then it allows you to actually put that pivot table into another Excel sheet. Okay, so there we go. We're now up and running with our Excel Copilot. We got some data, we got it in the table, and we've asked our first question. In the next tutorial, we're going to be looking at some sorting capability, asking it some filtering questions as well. So please join us for the next tutorial. I will see you there.